Hello, everyone. Welcome today to the Entrepreneurial Giant series. We are still on it. Um, we have been covering a whole lot and we defined the concept of entrepreneurs in our last edition. Today, we'll continue from where we stopped. Our expectation at the end of today's session is that every single one should be able to discuss how to be an entrepreneur and list some names of Nigerian indigenous entrepreneurs and briefly discuss each entrepreneur listed. Okay, let's continue. Now, we'll start by discussing how to be an entrepreneurial giant. To be an entrepreneurial giant, you have to have passion about your work. We know um, that we all know that passion is the ultimate key to career success as well as contentment. Entrepreneurial giants don't just spend half of their day at work fantasizing about issues. They don't feel like they are stuck. All right, they don't feel like that. They are passionate about what they do, and they always put their best effort in what they do. Now, the second way to be an entrepreneurial giant is to be a risk taker. All right. The third way to be an entrepreneur giant is to think big, to have a big dream. Okay. Now, let's define the concept biological studies. Biological studies refers to a detailed description of an entrepreneur's life and that of his organization from inception to date, presenting the challenges and stages of growth of the business. Okay, so that is what biological studies mean. So in this series, we are just literally doing a biological study of some entrepreneurs that we have identified, detailing their life, the life of their organization from the inception to date. All right, that's what biological studies is all about. Now, um, we have some Nigerian indigenous uh, we have some Nigerian indigenous entrepreneurs. The Nigerian indigenous entrepreneurs are just few among the several in the country that have excelled in their various fields despite the harsh business terrain and the challenges involved with starting a business in Nigeria. They are dogged, these entrepreneurs are dogged in guts, strong willed, and unrelenting in their pursuit for success. To them, success is not an option, it was necessary. These entrepreneurs refused to be held down by circumstances. Instead, they reached out for their inner strength and went for success. These entrepreneurs do not take no for an answer, and that is why they are a successful group of people even till today. Now, on the top of that list of Nigerian entrepreneurs is Alhaji Dangote. His company is Dangote Group. He plays in the industry, manufacturing and gas, oil and gas. We have Alhaji Dantata also. His company is MRS Holding Limited. He also plays in the oil and gas and construction industry. We have Chief Ade Ojo, who is the owner of the company Elizade Motors Nigerian Limited, Elizade University also. He plays in the industry, auto retailing and education. We also have Chief Cletus Ibeto. Ibeto's company is Ibeto Groups. The industry where he plays is the trading, manufacturing, oil and gas. We also have Cosmos Maduka of the Coscharis Group of company. Now, he plays in the automobile industry and manufacturing industry. We have Dele Fajo Mirokun. His company name is Aiko Insurance, Xerox, and Chicken Republic, Kingsguard. The industry where he plays is insurance, security, technology, food, and food retailing. We also have another entrepreneur referred to as the Femi Otedola. He plays in the oil and gas industry. His company name is Fort Oil, though it has changed. All right. Now we have Fola Adeola, company name GTB, Industry Banking. Hakim Bello Osage, company name Etisalat. Its names are changed today, but Etisalat, Industry Telecom. We also have Jim Ovia, company name Janet Bank. Visaphone. Visaphone has changed also. Industry Banking and Telecoms. We have Follow Shu Adelaja, company name Famfa Oil and Industry Oil and Gas. We have Jim Ovia, company name Nico Insurance and Global Fleet, Industry, Insurance, Transportation and Oil and Gas. We also have another entrepreneur, Leo Staneze, company name Xenox, Industry, Computer and Technology. We have Mike Adenuga, company name Conole Globacom, and Industry, Oil and Gas, Banking and Telecoms. We also have Oba Otudekon, company name Honeywell, Industry, Manufacturing, Oil and Gas. Company name also includes farm milk and all that. We have Ojus Okalo of Slock Group. He plays in industry, aviation industry, shipping, publishing and manufacturing. We have Pascal Dozier, MTN Nigeria Diamond Bank, which has changed also. The industry they play in is banking, telecoms. We have Prince Samuel Adedoyin of Adedoyin Group, plays in the manufacturing and pharmaceutical industry. We have Tony Ezenwa, Orange Group, that's the name of his company. The industry plays in pharmaceutical, oil and gas. Then we have Umar Abu Mutalab of the Mutalab Group company, and that is manufacturing industry. We have Vincent Amechi Obianodo of the company name Young Shagro Motors. He also has a Rockview Hotels. The industry plays in is transportation and hotels. Then lastly we have Emeka Ofo of Chrome Group. We have Shehu Osawa of Nairaland. We have Jason Njoku Iroko TV. We have Abasiama Idoresit of Wild Fusion. One of Nigerian notable indigenous entrepreneur is Aliko Dangote of Dangote Group. Alhaji Dangote is one of them. His company is Dangote Group. He was born in 1957 in Kanu. His maternal grandfather, Alhaji Sanusi Dantata, gave him the name Aliko, which means victorious one. He lost his father at an early age of 8, so he did not know much about him, and he was not raised by his mother. His maternal grandfather was who adored him so much for being his first grandson, raised Dangote. Dangote was brought up with a silver spoon, but he has craved a niche of greatness for himself by becoming independent, staying away from family business to set up his own. Dangote took interest very early in entrepreneurship. He loaned a huge sum of money from his rich grandfather to start his small trade in cement business, and later joined his uncle Usman, who had formed solid ties with military government and got rice importation deals in the 1970s. But when Muhammad came into power, his uncle was one of those awarded government contracts to decongest the Nigerian seaport in Lagos, and he made a huge fortune from the contract. Now, during the Shagari regime, Dangote Company, then known as Alco, was a major importer. He also supplied huge tonnage of cement to government. When Shagari government decided to pay more attention to the construction of Abuja, the proposed new federal capital at the time, Dangote Cement was on point at that time. He incorporated 2 companies in 1981. These, as well as other companies, make up the conglomerate known as Dangote Group. Aliko Dangote also invested in other commodities like salt, sugar, cocoa, textile, millet, vegetable oil, cotton. One of Aliko's business strategy for succeeding in the commodity market was to develop a strong distribution network and make the delivery of his goods faster than that of his competitors. Dangote Cement is a fully registered company, so that is one of his companies, and the company has projects and operations in Nigeria and other African countries. It has a cement company branch at Obajana, and that Obajana Cement is also the biggest quoted company in West Africa and the only Nigerian company on the Forbes Global 2000 companies. The Dangote Group has grown over the years with all types of established products. These products include Dangote Sugar Refinery, NASCON PLC, Dangote Flour Mills, Dansa Juice, fertilizer and petrochemical plants amongst his several businesses, and recently Dangote Refinery, which has just been launched. One of his quoted quotes is "I enjoy myself a lot." So Dangote always says this. One of the things, the quote he says is that "I enjoy myself a lot, but I derive more joy in working. I believe in hard work, and one of my business success secrets is hard work. It's hard to see a youth that will go to bed by 2 a.m. and wake up by 5 a.m. I don't rest until I achieve something." Now, another Nigerian notable entrepreneur is Alhaji Sayyu Dantata of MRS Holdings Limited. He is the owner of MRS Holdings Limited. He's the founder, is the chief executive director of MRS Holdings Limited. The Alhaji has been in the petrol industry for more than 17 years after venturing into the industry back in 1993. He founded the group in 1995. MRS Group company includes companies like Conley Global SA, Overlast Trades SA, and Overlast Services Geneva. His career began as chief executive of Dangote Transport in the Dangote Group. He's a mechanical engineer by profession and trained at Morris Brown College in Atlanta, Georgia, in the United States. Upon completion of his education and studies in the United States, he returned home to Nigeria and worked with the transport arm of the Dangote Group. He set up MRS, which today boasts of filling stations throughout the country. Okay, now at inception, the company had only 3 stars, but currently has about 2,000 people working there. Dantata is unknown to many. He's actually a half brother to African richessman Alhaji Dangote, and this might explain Dangote's support for him years back when he had a major business issue with Femi Otedola of Fort Oil. The matter got out of hand, and Otedola and Dangote had to resort to a rough way of resolving it. In fact, Dangote paid Dantata's school fees in the United States. His surname actually is Idris, but had to swap it with Dantata because his mother from the popular Dantata family brought him up. His success in the petroleum industry began when he noticed a gap in the process of procuring fuel while working with the Dangote Group. Alhaji Dantata has a net worth of $500 million. Okay. Now, in summary, we have in this session we have been able to discuss how to be an entrepreneurial giant and the definition of biological studies. Also, we discussed about Nigerian indigenous entrepreneurs, and we also talked about Alhaji Aliko Dangote and Alhaji Sayyu Dantata briefly. Thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you in my next class.